I have a wonderful people that are coming to my show every week, and this week is no exception. Stay tuned. I'll tell you who that is in a second. But I want to first introduce you to this show. It's called It's All Good because it's, first of all, it's my favorite cup. It's all good. I know it's backward, but it's all good. And I love that saying because regardless of what happened in my life, I'm always referring to this. It's all good. And now let's look at what's good about it. Be curious about situation. So when things happen in the past and it doesn't go the way I want, well, it's the past. I can't change it. So it's all good. If things are coming up in the future, well, I can't predict exactly how things are going to happen because life happened. So it's all good. So I'm always coming back to right now. The best place to be is right here. Yes, we can plan for the future, and yes, we can learn from our past experiences, but the best place to be is right now. So I'd love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like and subscribe my YouTube. It's youtube.com/ at Denise Bellil. And if you're interested to either be on my show or if you would like to have a chat with me after listening to me after all these videos and like to say, hey, I'd love to have a conversation with Denise, book a call with me, tiny.cc/talk with Denise. And I would love to have a conversation with you. And my guest today is Bri Smith, and she's a CPA, wealth strategist, and CEO. I had a conversation with her a while ago, and I was like, I got to have you on my show. Would you come? And she said, of course. So let's welcome her without any further delay. Bri, welcome to the show. It's such a pleasure to have you.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
You're very welcome. And tell me a little bit about yourself. Like the theme of our call today is actually wealth and personal finance. But tell me first about you, about who you are and what motivated you to become a CPA and doing the work that you're doing now.
Yes, so I help parents to create custom financial plans to reach their dream goals and start living their dream lives daily. So
Mm,
that's in a nutshell what I do because I feel like personal finances are personal. So what works for me may not work for you and probably isn't going to work for our best friend or the other person either, right? Like
yeah.
we all need our certain different tweaks. We have a different relationship with money, different behavior and personality types. And I think that our personal financial plans should reflect that. And the big thing for me, why I started doing this is because of my daughter. I became a single mom at 17 and I was
Mhm.
devastated. um, it really uprooted my world, but I said, okay, it's not her fault that she's getting me as a mama. Is That's how I looked at it. And I said, well, I'm going to still give her the best life possible. And
Yeah.
I did my best to do that. So, from 17 to by age 21, I bought my first house. And
Wow, that's
so,
awesome.
yeah, so it was a strong journey, but I wanted to be good at finances too, learn the tips of the wealthy. Like, how are these
Hmm.
people so filthy rich? How do I get there too? Right. Um, and I started learning about it. And the main thing was having a plan. So I've had great success with being able to buy two homes, keep my babies in private school. We now have four. So three out of the four are school age and are at private school now. And we started a vacation and we're living our dream life. And I want to help
Yeah,
others
yeah.
do the same.
Wow, that's awesome. And so I imagine for you, like you, when you were 17, you had two choice. You can either decide that you're going to live the, oh, poor me, I'm 17, I'll get my mom to raise my kids, I'll finish high school, and hopefully I can get a good job, and like it, and then I can support her. Or what I heard that you did is like, okay, I have that kid. I don't want her to have a horrible upbringing. It's not because I'm 17 that that I made a mistake, perhaps, to have that kid so young. I want her to have a great life. I'm going to push harder, as hard as I can, to create a wonderful life for her. And
Yeah.
that's what I heard, right? That's,
Well, I didn't even have the choice of having my mom raise my kid. I raised all of my mom's kids. So I'm the oldest of five, oldest of four in my mom's house. So I was a mama before I was a mama. And so it was
yeah.
like, give this kid up for adoption and never see her again, never be a part of her life.
Was not an
or
option.
knuckle
Yeah, yeah,
down and
yeah,
be the best mom possible. So it was like, hey, we're gonna knuckle down and be the best mom possible because
yeah.
there's no way I'm going through 9 months of labor to give you up. Like,
Exactly, exactly.
like
And you were already trained of raising kids, so you were able to, like, to do it for yourself. And so so how okay, so you put that out there. So how in 5 years, from 17 years old to 21, how were you able to buy your first house? So what happened in that 5 years?
So it was actually 3. So I had her at 17, but it was 2 weeks before my 18th birthday. And so basically in that time I got kicked out of my mom's house because I wasn't really willing to raise her kids anymore and that I have my own kid.
Mhm.
Um, so I was kicked out of there. I went to go to live with my grandmother. She had stage 4 colon cancer and so she couldn't like help me as much, but she did her best that she could. But she was my best friend, and me and my daughter were sharing a twin size bed at my grandparents' house. And so I said, I'm not going to delay going to school or anything else in my plan. I felt like if I didn't go to school, the best job I had was McDonald's. Then I was working at Food Line as a cashier, and
Mhm.
then also as a hostess at this place called Joe's Crab Shack. So I was working 2 jobs just to get a car. That was not going to be sustainable for me to actually take care of my child. I didn't want to be on public service or any of that. So there was long wait lists. So I said, okay, I have to go to school because my grandma was like, well, maybe you should just postpone school and just work
Mhm.
right now. And I'm
Mhm.
living at her house, and I'm like, no, grandma, I'm going to go to school even if I can't work. Just
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
teenager, but that's what I told her. And so I went to school for accounting because I thought that's what you do when you want to help people with their finances.
Yeah.
And then I started double majoring actually in accounting and finance because I took a finance class and I was like, oh, this is the stuff.
You
And
loved it. Already you found your passion.
yeah, I did. And so I concentrated in personal financial planning. So I did both of those. While doing that, I then went from working part-time to finding a full-time job during my second semester during my freshman year. And I worked that job. By 19, I got us into our apartment. So I was at my grandma's for roughly a year and a
Mhm.
half. Then we got our apartment. We were there for a year. And by the end of that lease, I was under contract for my new house. So I told them, I was like, hey, I'm not renewing. I'm just going to go month to month and I will hopefully be leaving soon. Well, that process took a little longer because they didn't want to give a 20-year-old a house. And so my closing, usually it should take 30 days, but mine took almost 90. I went through like 5 different lenders before I found the right one and was able
Yeah.
to get approved. And thank God that they were willing to work with me and let me, keep applying at different places until I got it through. And I got bought my house. It was a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath,
Good
and
for
my daughter
you.
was 3. And that was my goal because I heard that by age 3, that's when their memory begins. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
only remembers living in a house that her mommy owned. She knows the rest of the story because I always remind her, but
Yeah.
she only remembers living in houses her mommy owned. And that was important to me. So I worked my butt off. I worked full time. I went to school full time. I took extra classes. I took a full load of 4 classes during the regular school year.
Yeah.
During the summer, I took an additional 2 to 4 classes to make sure I didn't get behind so that I could still graduate on time. I had no social life.
Of course, of
um,
course. Yeah.
I
You had to
saved.
sacrifice a few years in order to be able to move forward.
Yeah, and I saved everything. I saved every tax refund. I saved every tuition reimbursement I got from jobs, from their benefits. I saved all the extra money that came in from the student loans. I just saved, saved, saved. And then by the time I graduated, I was able to, I had already bought my house. And then I paid off more than half of my student loans before graduation. And that was just kind of my process, was just like grind, grind, grind. And then, after graduation, I married my husband about a year or so later.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lucky him.
Yeah, right? That's what I say. He hit the jackpot.
Yeah, having such an entrepreneur and someone that is so driven and wanting to create a life for yourself, and you could not. I imagine he's not. You could not have married a loser, right?
Mhm.
He's probably also very driven, because you would have scared any not driven person away, with all the things that you had accomplished at such a young age.
Yeah, I scared him a bit, and he would be like, "Oh, I think you deserve better than me." And I was like, "Give me better." And he was like, "Oh, that's good." So so I still tell him that sometimes. I'm like, "Well, give me better." And so he's like, "Okay, let me figure out what that looks like."
Wow, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So now moving forward, so how long have you been now graduated and running your own business?
So I graduated about 6 years ago now, and I have been running my business for the last 4.5 years.
Okay, great, great. And so who's your audience? Who do you serve? Who's your ideal client? Like if you could describe, like the perfect, Maria, what does she look like?
So my perfect client is going to be either a single mom or a married couple
Hmm.
that are hard workers, very driven, that are parents. I love working with parents because I'm
Yeah,
big on generational wealth. And if you don't have kids, well, then you don't really have anything to pass down to. It's just like a different drive to me. I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know because I only know in my experience
Exactly,
being a parent.
exactly. Hmm.
So that's what I love working with parents, but they have to be ambitious, driven, hardworking, and maybe they're confused about the finance piece. They don't get it, but they're making great money and they just don't know what to do with it. They don't know where it's going. They want to do better. They want to be able to retire early. They want to give their kids a better life. They want to be able to afford better things other than putting their vacations
Yeah,
on layaway, or putting it on credit cards and they're paying it off months after they left the place. They
yeah,
want to
yeah,
do
yeah.
better than that. And so it's those people that are like, hey, look, if I was just given the right advice and help to create a plan that actually works for me, takes me into account and what would deter me from actually doing this, and we take out those roadblocks and create a plan that will get me from point A to point B in the time frame that's comfortable for me, I would do it. Those are the kind of people I love working with.
Hmm. Hmm. And so, what would be if you had like a couple come to you? Let's say it's a couple and they have two young children, and they're barely making men's ends of the month, paying all the bills and all that. So, what would be the first recommendation you would give them?
Well, first, I would be asking them, where's their money going? Like, why are they barely making ends meet?
Hmm.
Some people
Hmm.
are barely making ends meet because they are like working their hardest and their jobs are not paying them enough and the expenses are way too high and there's just no wiggle room for them. They just can't breathe. And for them, I would tell them to, stay on a budget, do your very best, and track your money and work on building your income, increasing your income. So there's that scenario. Now, there's other people that come to me and they feel like they are paycheck to paycheck as well. But then it's like you're spending $4,000 on eating out. And this has been like a literal thing that I saw because that's insane to me. But they're
Yeah,
like,
yeah, for sure, for
but
sure.
yeah, like they're throwing away money. So they're spending thousands and hundreds of dollars on things that they cannot afford. And so then I'm saying, well, maybe we need to get rid of some of these unnecessary expenses and decrease them because I'm not someone that's going to take away your Starbucks, that $5 a day that keeps you happy and everyone around you happy, right? I don't want to take that away. The simple joys of life, I think we can afford those. But it's those $500 hairstyles, $2,000 purses, $1,500 puppy that's a pure breed that you got to go drive out of state to get. It's those kind of purchases, and then they do it on a whim that like have to come to an abrupt stop, and we need to think through that better and
Hmm.
put our money where our mouth is with a budget and say that, hey, look, if I'm saying these are my goals, then that's what my money is going to be prioritized towards. And yes, I still get to enjoy life and spend, and maybe I'll get the puppy in 3 months or something because I'm going to plan for it. But at the same time, I have a plan in place. And I'm not going to go ahead and put how I feel in this moment over my end goal of what I want to accomplish. selfish.
Mhm. Mhm.
That would be the conversation we would have to have. It would be like, hey, look, what kind of person are you? Are you the kind of person that wants to buy your house, that wants to vacation more and not be in debt, that wants to put your kids in private school or whatever? Public school is fine. But are you that kind of person, or are you the kind of person that just blows money on stuff that you don't even care about in 30 days?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you still have the label on it like 3 months later in the cupboard, in the
Yeah,
closet. Just you bought it because it was like, wow, what a nice dress, and it was on sale, but it was on sale at $300. You know,
exactly.
it's like okay, on sale at 50 maybe. But
Mm-hmm.
that's a good deal now for later. And I can understand that. That reminded me when I used to watch. I don't watch cable anymore, but I used to see a show on cable where the lady would come and she would have that conversation with people. Where is your money coming from? And then she would take their credit card and cut their credit card, and it's like, okay, no more spending on a credit card. You can't afford to pay. Now we're gonna work on paying it off. Slowly, but you can pay it off and resolve that problem, right?
And that's
Because
an approach.
it's
Yeah.
what?
I said that's an approach. That's definitely an
Yeah,
approach
yeah,
to take. I'm not big on like the whole no credit cards
yeah, yeah.
wave. So I'm not big on that. I love getting my points and my rewards. I
Yeah.
feel like you just need to learn how to use them
Yeah,
responsibly.
yeah.
I've never paid interest on a credit card to this day, and I've
Mhm,
had one
mhm.
since I was 19 or so.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I've had one for about a decade. I have several, but I've never paid interest because I stay within my means. So I think we can have credit cards,
Yeah,
but
yeah, of course, of course. You gotta learn to
yeah,
handle your credit card, right?
yes.
Like for me, I'm the same as you. The only time that I might have paid interest on my credit card is somehow I thought I paid it and I didn't pay it, and then I say, "Oh, come I'm late in my payment. What the hell?" Then I pay, a few hundred, whatever, not hundred, $20, $30, whatever. But that's
But
just a mistake, right? It's not because I didn't want to
exactly.
pay it. Yeah, and then I'm mad at myself. It's like, hello, you gotta pay your bill every month. But I think a lot of time people they're so careless, right, with their money. They
Yeah.
don't really have a purpose. Like I know a friend that he was making, I don't know, let's try to imagine, probably minimum $80,000 a year, and he had no saving. A single man, living alone, and he had no saving. And I was
Mm.
like, how can you not have saving? Like, where's your $80,000 go? You're alone. You don't have children to support. You work your 9 to 5, whatever. And then in the end of the day, like, where does it go?
Well, see, the problem is most people don't think about their future selves.
Hmm.
So someone making $80,000 and single, that's why I also don't work with like singles that aren't parents, because they have no reason to save a dollar in their brain. They're like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
living my best life. I only have to support me. Like, so what? I'm gonna spend it all. And so I'm like, whoa, 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 wait a minute. Cause like I'm thinking, whoa, you make $80,000 and it's just you. Like, couldn't you live off of 40,000 and still be happy somehow?
at
And like
least.
and keep
Yeah,
40,000 to put towards investments to
yeah,
like
yeah,
if you want to, you can retire early within 5 to 10 years,
yeah.
or at least have
Retired at
that
50
option.
if you have to, right? I mean,
Yeah. Like that would be phenomenal to me. That it's like, or if you do plan to get married one day, then you've already secured a nice like financial cushion and egg for
yeah,
your future spouse and children. So you've
yeah, yeah,
already
yeah,
accumulated some wealth on the side where it's like, hey, look, I already have passive income coming in, or some strategies that I have in place that are going to produce passive income in X amount of time. And
yeah,
so, hey, if you join me in on this, we can both put our money together and reach
yeah.
there even sooner, so that if we want to, we can be in our 30s chilling. We can quit a job at a whim. We wouldn't have to work a job if we don't want to work a job.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Have true freedom.
Yeah, because there are ways, in America to to put your money in places where it will be worth it.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of bad investment, but there's a lot of good investment.
Yeah.
And when you're the right person to work with, then this way you find that you know more about how to make your money work with you and for you,
Yeah.
as opposed to you working for your money. And And I've met a man years ago, and he was just hitting 50, and he was already retired,
Awesome.
and he had traveled the world in his sailboat, and having a great life. And I say, how were you able to retire so early? And then he said, I had an advice from either an uncle, a cousin, a neighbor, I don't remember, from an elderly man when I was in 10, 12 years old. And he said, the one thing you should do is every penny, every dollar you make, put 10% aside. And he
Mm,
did that from his very young age. And of course, at some point you put more, because then you
yeah.
say, oh, I like to see my money growing. But the minimum 10%, right? And and he was able to retire before 50, because that's what he did.
Wow.
Like every penny that he made, he cut it in pieces. I exaggerate, but like 10%, he would always put it away. If he was to have like a newspaper run, and he would get paid, I don't know, $20 a week. Well, we put $2 in a piggy bank, right?
Nice.
And so, do you think that's a great advice to give people to when they start early, and then so that they can grow into? Um,
I think yes, I think that's a great way to start saving. That's one of the things that I do tell my clients, that at the bare minimum 10%. I mean, when
mhm.
when you're a child, I guess you could do 10%, but like my daughter, I have her save 50%. She gets hundreds of dollars on her birthday. My 10-year-old doesn't need hundreds of dollars. So I make her take half of that and put it aside. And we're starting to talk about ways that she can invest in stocks and things like that, so that maybe though that birthday money can pay for a few college classes because she wants to be this famous fashion designer, or
Mhm.
her getting her business started, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah,
But that's more so where I say, okay, this is how we're going to navigate this. So, yes, at the bare minimum, I say, hey, when your money comes in, take 10% off and put it in a savings account and don't touch it. And
yeah,
then use the rest of it. And that's just depending on how people deal with their money. And some people, they tithe. So they take 10% and they tithe first. That's cool. Do that. Then take the other 10% and still pay yourself as well. And then
mhm.
live off of that 80. And so, whether they're living off 80 or 90, at least they are saving something. But
Yeah,
where they're going to see crazy big results is when you save 30 to 50% of your income and you make that happen. Now, that's not probable in a lot of societies, but like also married people, it can say, hey, look, we live off of your income, babe, and then on my income, we're going to stash that all away for
yeah,
all the things we want to do, all our investments and things like
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that makes a big difference when that
that.
can happen, right?
It does. It
And
does.
also, people have to evaluate, or like, are they living above their mean, like in the short term, right? Like,
Mhm.
if you let's say you rent. I know here in Vancouver the rent is tremendously expensive. I don't know where you live, but if you want to rent like a 3 bedroom, it's like, I don't know, $4,000, $5,000, like 4,000. It's
Oh.
huge. Like, like a 1 bedroom is 2 grand, right?
Oh, that's crazy. I
So
need to get some rentals in Vancouver.
yeah, you need to get some investment here.
Yeah.
But to get to the point that, like, what can you do in order to reduce your expenses, right? Maybe have to transit more, but live outside of the city, right? Don't
Mhm.
have to live downtown. Maybe you can transit, for 45 minutes every day, but then you're saving maybe 2 grand in rent, right?
Exactly.
So these are things that people can consider, and that $2,000, well, they could invest it, right? They could,
Definitely. I love that. They can definitely do that. And then a lot of people are working from home anyway. So why not just move to a very like low cost of living area or
yeah, yeah,
lower cost of living area so
yeah,
that
yeah,
then you can save up a lot. Like I definitely would with when having kids, I love being around my support system because sometimes you need a break and just need to drop them off at grandma's house. But nonetheless, like yeah, living somewhere else that is not as expensive so that you can then invest that additional money for your future is so important.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So tell me, what when you have children, and that's your ideal client, they have one or two children, and um like children are expensive,
Oh yeah.
right? There's a lot of cost into having a child. Like it's only just putting food in their mouth. As they grow older, they eat more because they
Oh
grow and they eat and they grow and they eat. And also like clothes, you can't keep the clothes for more than 6 months because they grow. And so all these expenses, plus the school, plus the books, plus everything else that they want. So, what is your best recommendation for people that have children in order to not deprive, the children out of the necessities, but be able to save and to move forward?
So kids are as expensive as you make them. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, their kids are pricey, right? But they're as expensive as you make them. So when it comes to food, they're eating what you eat. You can definitely, if you're cooking at home, you will save a lot more money than trying to take a big family out to eat. Like,
Can't imagine.
yeah, like we're a family of 6. So when we go out to eat, it's like $100. Like,
Minimum, minimum.
yeah, and fast food, we're still at almost $40.
Yeah.
So it's just like, and that's the garbage and trash. So it's not great, nutritional
Mm-hmm,
wise.
mm-hmm.
But eating at home, we can eat spaghetti and that be like a $10 meal or less.
Yeah, yeah.
So, that's a crazy big difference versus eating out to get something quick. So there's that when it comes to like food and nutrition. The best food is going to be the food made at home anyway. Yes, it takes some time and planning and prepping, but it's worth it. And then when it comes to clothing, I love finding a good sale. And so I used to think some stores were very expensive. But they're not necessarily. And like for my baby, so we have kids age 1 to 10. um, and for our kiddos, it's like, okay, we do hand-me-downs. So my 1-year old, he's had all of his clothes up to age 1. They were like pretty much given to him by grandma. And that was the
Mm-hmm.
same for my daughter. I took all the hand-me-downs people wanted to give me, and she had like clothes up to like 18 months free of charge
Yeah.
to me. So
Yep.
that saved a lot for when you're like they're really turning out of clothes within 3 to 6 months, or like on a month-to-month basis. They can't.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But then also, like short sleeve shirts, they last a little bit longer than long sleeve shirts. So, and going out to shop at places. So down here in America, we have Children's Place. I used to think that place was expensive, but they have 60 to 80% off like every week. And or like a buy one get one free, and then you have a credit card, and if you get their credit card, you get an additional like 20% off or 10% off. I mean, like you can just rack up in like free money. I've gotten like $200 to $300 of stuff, $500 of stuff, and like the $200 to $300 of stuff, I paid like $60, and
Mm-hmm. That
like
makes a big difference.
$500 for like $200 or $150, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and I'm racking up, and I got my kids everything that they need. So like paying attention to sales, and they have great quality clothing that looks beautiful on them, that they feel cool in. And now, my 10-year-old's like the little wannabe fashion designer. She's a diva. So she wants to start picking out more of her own stuff. So
Yeah, yeah. That's gonna be troublesome. She's gonna have a job to pay for that clothes.
yeah. So I'm going to start taking her to different places, and we're going to find some other places that have great sales, but that she can get her style. But
Yeah,
we can
yeah,
still
yeah.
go to places like Ross, TJ Maxx. These clothes don't last a long time, so I don't need to buy them the most expensive of clothing. But
Yeah.
I don't use places like Shein or Shein. I don't know how they say it, but Shein, I think. Because I know that's made with a lot of toxic materials. Otherwise, I would have
Mhm,
racked up
mhm.
there because they got a lot of cute stuff.
Yeah.
But toxic materials, it's like it's not worth my baby getting cancer one day. So
No, for
I'm
sure,
not
for
gonna
sure, for
take
sure.
it.
And so what is your process when you work with someone? Like somebody come and talk to you, like do they hire you for like, because I don't know, what you do is probably different than what I do as a coach. Like for me, people hire me for 2 months and then we work together and then we can extend. So what's the process of people working with you? Is it also like kind of the same process? Okay, we'll work together, or you just, I don't know. I have no idea. So tell me. I'm trying
So
to put it together. It's like, I don't know.
So it depends on the person. So like I said, I make custom financial plans. So it's whatever like works best for the individual.
Yeah.
So the main way I love to work with people is through my course, the Financial Freedom Plan. So that allows me to do group coaching. I feel
Okay.
like it's very beneficial because people are able to hear what others are struggling with and what they have questions on, and it gives them a lot of enlightenment. And we can still do that in a very confidential way where no one knows everyone else's numbers or socials or,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
credit reports and stuff like that, right? And so basically I take them, but I still make it custom because I take them through a process of getting very clear on their individual goals, writing those out, and creating a roadmap to get there. And
Mm-hmm.
so we do that through budgeting, and I find the budgeting style that works best for them. Saving, finding the style that works best,
Yeah.
getting out of debt. I have like the top 3 methods there. And if we need to do a hybrid, I teach them how to repair their own credit. So they don't need to go to these credit repair people that don't have integrity and that are going to charge them a lot of money. And then
Yeah.
everything's going to pop right back up just in a few months as soon as you stop paying them.
Yeah.
So I solve that problem for them. And then we go over investment strategy. So we got to think of our future self and think about when do we want to retire? Because for some people, it's very arbitrary, or they think they have to be in their 60s. And instead, I'm able to say, hey, look, no matter where you're starting at, I can get you there within 5 to 15 years. So it depends on the person. So it's like really, it's a strategy that can get you there in 7 to 10. Very ambitious people can get there in 5. And
Uh-huh.
then those that are like, hey, look, I'm chilling, I'm loving life, I'm not going to cut all of that out or save 50% of my income. Those people, they can still get there within the 10 to 15 year period, which for most of them is in their 40s or in their 50s, but
Yeah.
it's going to be like comfortable for them. And during that time, they may still
And they
work.
still have a great time in the
Yeah,
meantime, right? I mean, they're sort of,
exactly.
living the life and enjoying life, but still saving a bit so that they can retire later. Yeah.
Exactly. And so it's
Yeah.
just like being prepared. I just
Yeah.
like love for people to be prepared because we don't know when our mom is going to get sick, our dad is going to get sick. We don't know when we have to grieve a relative. We
Yeah.
don't know when life is going to just punch us in the face. And when it does, we need to have time to recover instead of having to go back to work limping.
Yeah.
So I think it's just really important to saying, hey, how would you like to build your life and what would you like to build it around? Some people want to sacrifice very hard in the front on the front end to get there quicker. And others are like, hey, look, I want to enjoy life every single day of this process.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how do we do that? And this is what enjoy means to me. So yeah.
Yeah.
So I do that through my course. Sorry. And then I also do one-on-one coaching with the people that are like, hey, look, I just want one-on-one time with you. I want you to dig deeper into all of my financials and help me do this with me. And I need that accountability and that support working with you. So then I have for them 3-month to 1 year options, depending on their personality type for how we can work together.
Great. That's fantastic. And wow. Okay. Cool. And is there so what's your favorite type of investment that people can go into to be able to have their money working for them?
My favorite investment is real estate. So
Okay.
it's not, the easiest thing to get into, but real estate is my favorite because when you think about how your money's working for you, say if you take $20,000, you put it in the stock market, you then own 0.00001% of a company with a $20,000 interest.
Yeah.
Now, say you take that same $20,000, you could have a $300,000 asset in real estate, depending on how you work it. And so I think that, hey, look, if I'm going to put $20,000 to work, I'd rather have a $300,000 asset at the end than a $20,000 asset. Can that 20,000 grow to 300,000? Yes, but it's going to take way
Mhm.
longer. And
Mhm.
then with you getting dividends and money back from it, it's just a lot slower with stocks than it is with real estate. So there's more risk with real estate because we know stocks go up over time. So if we invest well enough and diversify, then yes, in 50 years we're going to have a great pot of luck, at the end of the rainbow. Maybe in 20 to 30. But with real estate, we can start getting money monthly right now, passive income that we can choose to how we want to spend it. We can choose to then put that into the stock market if we want to,
Mhm.
or we can choose to use it for our daily expenses. We can choose to save it up for more real estate. There's just so many options. So I love being able to have more options and things of that nature.
Mhm. Mhm. Because I mean, if you have investment property, then this way, as you mentioned, yes, you probably will have a mortgage on it, but the idea is that your renter pay for the mortgage and some more and some,
Yes,
right? So to
exactly.
cover up the future expenses, and then pay off the property for you. So you don't all you have to do is come up with the initial money down, and then it will grow for you as you take care of it and nurture your tenant, to keep them there and make them happy, and you
Yes.
don't have a big turnaround and all of that.
Yeah, being a good landlord would save you such a big headache, and
Yeah,
making sure your property is up to code, has everything they need, and make it something that you would want to live in. Not just say, "Oh, I'm just going to put this together so I can quickly get money," but like, would I be comfortable living here? If not,
yeah,
then maybe I need to make some changes for it. And maybe that gets expensive because you have expensive taste and you want to be very comfortable. But how much better would your renter be if they have a beautiful space that they enjoy and they're comfortable in? They're
yeah,
going to be more enticed to make sure that they pay you, and so that they can stay there, than some hole in the wall spot where they're just like, I don't care about this piece of junk, I'm gonna get out of here as soon as I can, and they're going to take bad care of it. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
there's a
So,
difference.
so question: do you still have your first house that you bought?
I actually sold it, so I was able to get a six-figure profit from it, and that was just too much for me to like give up the profits I would have
Yeah,
got
yeah. You
monthly.
need you then you had that money to go play somewhere else.
Yeah, so like the cash flow it would have gave me, I did like a cost benefit analysis, and it would have gave me like maybe $10,000 or more in profits a year. And I'm like, that would have taken me 10 years to break even. And I was able to sell it and get over $100,000 out of it. So yeah, I sold it.
Yeah, and then you can take that money and then invest it somewhere where it will give you more money, right?
Yep. So I took it and I bought another house. So we needed a bigger home because we're a family of six. So three bedrooms wasn't going to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And well, it was while we were still a family of five, but we wanted to be a family of six. So we did that. And then I also invested in the stock market. So
Yeah. Okay, great. That's fantastic. And but is your philosophy for owning a house like buy and keep, or
um,
or it varies? So what do you think about that? Because real estate is the best investment. So what's your thinking about that?
so I teach people how they can do it their way. So some people are flippers, right? I am risk averse by nature. And so I'm a buy and hold strategy person. So I plan to buy properties and keep them for years, because and then what I want to do is play Monopoly in real life. So that's my current strategy. So I have my money in the stock market, but it's just until it grows and I save up enough to be able to buy my multi unit. And so I want, or I may get some townhouses. I'm thinking out some things, but we're getting creative with how we're going to be a landlord. But either way, I'm going to take the houses, I'm going to buy them, and I may buy them cash, and I'm going to rehab them, get them very nice, and then rent them out. And then I may go ahead and get a mortgage on it if I feel like it or not, depending on where interest rates are. And I can, if I get a mortgage on it, I can take all of that money back out and go get another property even sooner.
Exactly, exactly. Why put all your money in one property when you
Exactly.
could, use part of it and buy several one that gives you lots of money in return,
Yes.
right?
So my goal is to do that, and then I want to keep those houses for a set amount of years. And then after they've appreciated, I'm going to sell all of them, get a windfall of cash, and then I want to trade up to apartment complexes. So
Okay.
yeah, playing Monopoly in real life, trading in the little greenhouses for hotels.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that's the goal.
So Bri Smith, the future Grant Cardone.
Oh, I love Grant. I love Grant, but no, I'm not gonna be like him. I'm gonna just be Bree. Instead, like it's gonna be like just Bri Smith, and I'm gonna be in a category of my own.
Oh, wonderful. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Well, thank you so much. It was such a wonderful conversation. I hope that the listener got some great value out of the little tidbits and gold that you share with us. And so there's a way for people to reach you. So let me find out, where did I put that? Dup, da, dup, dup, da, dup. All right, how to reach Bree. So it says it's your website. So bdsmithfinancial.com,
Yes.
or they can go on Instagram or TikTok and subscribe and
Yeah.
thumbs up your videos for sure, and like your videos. And there's great value in that. I've seen a lot of your videos on
YouTube
on
probably. I
YouTube and
forgot to
on
say YouTube.
LinkedIn, and you're everywhere. So that's awesome, which is great. And then you also have a gift for people. So tell me a little bit about the gift, free financial breakthrough call. So what's that?
Yeah, so my free financial breakthrough call, that's where I just meet with people and they're able to talk to me about where they are currently in their finances, where they want to go, and we maybe come up with some quick action steps that they can take to get on their journey to go where they to get there, from point A to point B. And so we go over that. And if it seems like a good fit during the call, then I'll show them how they could work with me. But if not, they still walk away with some great steps that they can take to start getting their financial life in place. So I just love being able to connect with people and help people on their journey. Even if it's not in a way where we're working together, I'm still able to help serve them on their call. I'm all about serving.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So
Yeah.
what's the one last tip you would like to give people before we go away?
Budget your
Mhm.
money and tell it where to go. Stop hiding from it. Don't ignore the mail or the emails. Like, just budget and see where your money is going and start telling it where it needs to go so that it starts working for you instead of against you.
Oh, wonderful. I love that. Thank you so much. So
Yes, thank you for
a
having
great
me.
tip. So stay there. I'll be right back with you. So thank you so much, Bri, for the amazing conversation. I hope you guys get lots of value out of that. We can't help having to needing or wanting or having to pay bills with money now. We can't help that. So may as well make money work for you and create a wealth that you have money coming in and you don't have to do anything, like an apartment complex. I can see her in a few years with a 300 unit complex where she get all the rents coming in, like every month, and she's smiling in the back office there. She's like, whoa, yes, I am. So again, before we go away, I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can get all my amazing interview. I'm close to my, I think, second year's coming up, so it's going to be super exciting. I'm so happy to have you here. So go check my YouTube channel and subscribe. And if you feel some value in what I'm saying, or if you want to be on the show, reach out to me and book a call with tiny.cc/ talk with Denise. And I would be happy to have a conversation with you and see where we can go from there. So until next time, be kind to one another and have a wonderful week. And I'll see you next week. Goodbye.